First of all, thank you everybody for making time to come learn about Snapcamp. Um, today is all about answering your questions about Snapcamp, telling you what Snapcamp is about, helping you decide if Snapcamp is the right thing for you. Um, yeah, we're really excited to have you all here. So usually Ha does this part. I'm going to do this part. Ha's in the background making sure that our tech is working. Um, for everybody to just join, put into the chat where you're calling in from, but we'll get going. Okay, first, thank you. We know that you could be spending your June 24th at noon doing something else. This is an investment in your future, is the way we look at this. So glad you're here. We're going to talk about Snapcamp today. What is Snapcamp? Well, it's a lot of things, and we're going to talk about what all those things are. But in a nutshell, it's a 4-week cohort designed to teach you how to build real businesses and real products like an engineer would. It's giving you the ability to take an idea to production grade software in a month. There's nothing else like this available on the internet. You can go look. There are lots of variants of this, vibe coding boot camps, which this often gets lumped in with. We are way beyond vibe coding. Okay. You do not need to have any technical ability to participate in Snapcamp. None. And that's what we've designed it for. If you have some technical familiarity or ability, we're going to help you there too. But we've had people come into the Snapcamp that just started using ChatGPT, and they have left with working products at the end. So let's get into it. Let's talk more about Snapcamp. Go ahead, Garrett.
And I would add to that that we've had supported many people who've never even used an LLM before or prompted or chatted before. So you don't have to have any background or experience in this. We guide you literally from zero.
Yes. If you have a starting point, you're just going to be further along by the end. But if you don't, you're welcome. You're welcome to join. Okay. Um, I'm Dan Sears. I'm one of your facilitators. I am one of your co-instructors. The other co-instructor is Garrett. He's here with me. Garrett's calling in from Portland. I'm calling in from lovely Bellevue, Washington, up here in the Seattle area. Um, Real quick background on me. I've been building, I've been a builder. My God, I just figured this out. 35 years I've been working. Seems like a lifetime. Most of that has been in product and product marketing, big companies, small companies, you name it. I've been working in AI for 17 years now. It's a long time. Started out doing machine learning commercial machine learning in 2008. The dark ages. I'm just going to tell you that. It's been a wonderful ride. I'm in the fourth chapter of my career, and I love helping people become builders. It's a passion. I love helping people become builders with AI. There are so many great ideas trapped in the minds of people who are non-technical. And part of my mission is to empower those folks to be able to go build products and bring your greatness to the world. There's so many cool ideas that come out of Snapcamp. It's really rewarding. So I'm one of your facilitators, guides, teachers, whatever you want to call me. But in Snapcamp, I'm here for you. Okay? Garrett, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Garrett. I run operations with Ember, who supports and promotes SnapCamp. Um, if Dan is Michael Phelps of technology, product, and AI, I'm the one who just learned how to swim. So we each have our role here as facilitators. He brings the expertise, the knowledge, the systems thinking. I bring the operations and the curriculum design and um, making all of his intellect and experience digestible to a new learner because I was just there with you. And so I went through the first boot camp ever when this was just a concept or an idea trying to gain traction. And I think famously now used 0 engineering hours. I don't recommend that. It was just me wanting to learn and being a bit stubborn along the way. And I think through that was able to translate the content well and help articulate it with clarity for those that are going through this as well. And so ever since that second one I mentored, I've been the primary facilitator. Dan took the boot camp And then him and I were getting to chatting about how we could evolve this, make it better. And what once started as Dan alluded to, sort of a boot camp, um, now really is an accelerator program for someone who has a thought or an idea and wants to go end to end to build alongside engineers, mentors, facilitators, people who've been there, done that, as like a safety net with the curriculum so that whatever you want to build, you can successfully, whether you have any coding or technical background or experience at all. So that's us, and that's how we support you through Snapcamp.
Yeah, excellent. We have there are two co-founders of Ember. Ember is the parent company that Snapcamp belongs to. Deb Liu, who you may or may not know, she's the former CEO of Ancestry.com. Very cool. She's also a board member at Intuit. And she was the VP at Facebook who brought Facebook Marketplace to life. She was the PM, which I think is super cool. Everybody uses Facebook Marketplace. That was Deb. She's one of our co-founders, along with Qasim, who's a multi-time founder. He's founded a whole bunch of different firms. Really interesting guy. And his specialty is getting engineers into environments where they can bring their expertise. And so we use real engineers in SnapCamp. That's part of the support you get. You're getting real engineers helping you with your build. So what is the problem that SnapCamp is trying to address? Fundamentally, we're trying to help people build with AI. There is a lot of, you could say a lot of messaging in the world around the tools to build with AI. Everybody talks about building fast. Go fast. Go fast. You can build fast. Well, building fast doesn't really help you if you build the wrong thing fast, or if you don't build the right thing the right way fast. Speed kills. It can be helpful, but what's more important is that you find a way to actually build durably, repeatedly. There are a lot of what I call failure modes with building with AI. And it's really easy when you go and you download a tool like Lovable. You can just vibe with it, you can talk with it. I'm sure everybody's tried that at some level. But what you usually get out of the back end of that is something not very good, right? Vibing is not a way to get what you want out of it. It is a way you can use it. Okay. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, but there is a way to do it well. And so a big part of what we're trying to solve for people is to help them not get stuck on tools and backends and integrations, help them not get stuck on building something fragile that breaks the first time it's in front of users, and avoid drift. Drift is inherent in these probabilistic LLMs. Everybody experiences it. If you haven't experienced it with a build, it's even worse than when you do it, you get drift just in a chat. In a build, it's invisible. You don't even know it drifted. It's all the stuff you didn't see, right? So we find that a lot of people abandon their projects when they vibe code. It's a really high rate. People love to play and try, but you don't get production grade software that way, especially if you don't have a community to support you and you don't have people instructing you on how to do it really well. So that's the problem we're addressing, is to help people take an idea to a produced piece of production grade software. It's a huge lift, but it can be done in a month. And every cohort that we run, everybody who starts the cohort doesn't believe it's possible. And by the end of the cohort, they've shipped production grade software. It's super cool. It's one of the reasons that we have very, very high NPS, because you'll do more than you think you can. We're going to give you wings like Red Bull. All right, let's go to the next slide. The real skill that we're trying to help people build here is not one of just spraying and praying with ideas. It isn't just learning tools, though you will learn tools. You will use Claude Code, you will use VS Code, you will use Claude Design, you will use Vercel or Render. You're going to use probably Next, React, JS. You're going to use a bunch of stuff, okay? You're going to learn tools. It's about teaching you how to go from an idea to a working product and to keep it working. And we start with really good idea clarity. We've got a very, very structured, opinionated, disciplined approach that we teach you on what PRD development, but basically taking your intent, what you want to build, and having the system actually build what you want to build without drifting. And we do that through Precode OS. It's a best-in-class operating system that helps you do this. We'll talk about that in another time. When you join the boot camp, you get Precode OS. It's yours forever. It's really cool. We also help you build front end and back end integration capabilities and product development and deployment capabilities, the full end to end product management, software development lifecycle, all the way through to a deployed product. And the best part is when you hit a wall, because you're going to hit a wall. Everybody hits one. And if you're not hitting one, you're really not trying hard enough. We kind of expect you to hit walls. We're expecting people to fail. That's all built in. When you hit a wall, you got an engineer for one-on-one help. You got instruction. You got a mentor who's already been through it and built a company. And you're going to meet one of those mentors today. That's Susan. She's generously calling in from Portland, Oregon. She has a former taken this as a in a cohort, this boot camp. She's also a mentor, and she's also a business builder with the businesses that she is working on building using boot camp. So she's perfect. I tell people try and be like Susan. And today you're going to get an exposure to Susan. So, all right, let's go to the next one.
I'll add something here to this as
Yeah,
well.
cool.
I assume folks are in here because you've chatted with LLMs, used some tools before, and you're curious of how to do it correctly in the right way. When the thing about LLMs and how they're built and how they're trained is they are designed and trained to be sycophantic, to tell you what it thinks you want to hear, and to go as quickly to the solution it thinks you want, while baking in assumptions it's not telling you it's baking in, or overweighting or over contextualizing things you didn't intend for it to do. And so this boot camp, there's all of those problems like hallucinations, drifts, and all those things that come context degradation, memory that comes with chatting with an LLM. And you'll notice the more you chat with it, the worse it performs, the worse it remembers things, and the more it kind of goes off on tangents. We teach you the foundations of what it is to use an LLM and communicate and prompt with it, how to formulate your idea in a way where you can articulate context with clarity so it's weighing and it's not assuming and it's weighing the correct things and you have fidelity in what you're communicating with what it's building for you, and then how to use tools like Claude, et cetera, and the build system we've implemented that essentially master how to use an LLM to build for you without having to read and write code. So this truly is all the way from foundational how to think, how to communicate, how to use the tools, and then how to build with the system in place. And we take you through that phase by phase so that by the end, the whole point is you have complete confidence and trust in your ability to navigate these tools, these LLMs, and build with confidence.
I love that, Garrett. So important. That's probably one of the biggest things you'll leave with is confidence that you can build, confidence you know how, and confidence that you know where to go if you need help. All right. So that's a big part of what you walk away with. You're also going to walk away with a deployed working product. Your results may vary if you don't put in the time. I'm going to say that. Little asterisk there. You're doing the work. So if you want a deployed working product out the end, you got to do the work to get a working deployed product. But I'll tell you what, everybody that wants that gets that. It's possible. Okay. You'll also get a repeatable system that you can use. That's the beauty of this. You can leave here and you can keep using it. We're going to give you a way to evolve over time. And finally, it's this confidence to build end to end. We have a lot of different levels of people that come into Snapcamp. Some people are really familiar with tools. Some are really familiar with product management. We've had PhD data scientists in here. We've had founders that already have a business. We have people who've already built a product. We have people that have done none of those. So if any of that represented you and you're interested, this is for you. I'm just going to say that. We have not yet found somebody who isn't a good fit here. We accept all. And we love everybody trying. That's the big thing. So what is it in a nutshell? I guess you could say this is kind of the mechanistic bit about it. It's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. Okay. Starts in July, goes through the month of July. Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 9 is live instruction, which is myself and Garrett. We bring other people in as well. It's also their guided exercises, and we're going to teach and show. And in fact, you're also going to be doing work in those sessions, but you're also expected to do work between the sessions. That's where all the learning comes from, is your practical application of it. We give you a lot of guidance. We give you a full workbook. And so we have milestones in place and you just chunk through them. We also have office hours, which in this last cohort, we were running those Thursdays. We'll see. It's kind of dependent on what the group needs, but those are another extra set of hours to support people. You get live one-on-one engineering support. Everybody gets 7 engineering hours, one-on-one with an engineer, you with an engineer. That's super valuable. Wait, can you go back real quick, Garrett? Just want to make sure. You also get the community, which is the Slack feedback loops and the peer reviews. We also have a builder community, and you have mentors. There's a lot of support here. There's a lot of people around you when you're in the boot camp, making sure that you've got what you need. Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, and this is the high level overview. This is a little more of a detailed version of it. So Dan talked about Monday, Wednesday, Friday as the cadence. This isn't a boot camp where you show up, you watch, or you don't show up and you watch a recording, which we do record everything. So if you miss one, don't worry about it. You can absolutely catch up on your own time. But this is a boot camp where you show up, you engage with us on the call. We'll present concepts and information and exercises for you to complete on your own. And then the office hours will offer ad hoc in certain moments when there's an additional dialogue needed around how those exercises went and additional clarity you need. As Dan mentioned on the last slide showed, we're also available in Slack. We'll often hop on one-on-one calls to help with that information digestion and to help you get your arms around the tools, the concepts, and the workflow. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday is our rhythm. So show up, engage, and then you will be expected to. The more time, I will say, put it this way, the more time you put on your own, the more you'll learn, the more proficient you'll get, and the more you'll be able to build. So depending on the greatness of your vision and passion for this and what you intend to do with it, the more time you spend, the more successful you'll be at that. So this is a very engaged boot camp, is how I'd frame it.
Yes, we have had people come in, life reasons, maybe they took a vacation for a week and they missed a week. Everything is available for them. And some of those people haven't missed a beat and they've still produced stuff at the end. So we realize everybody's got lives. It's summertime, probably have kids around. That's all fully expected and normal. Okay. But it really is, this is an investment in your future, is the way I like to think about it. All right, let's go to the next slide.
Right, real quick, the phases on the left are it's what we've talked about. It's essentially the step-by-step guide from idea, prototype, visualize it, then connect it back and build it, and then how to, depending on the complexity of your project, incorporate certain advanced fundamentals of building, AI integration architecture, and then the deployment, polish, and then pitching like you would to an investor or a customer. So just to more crystallize further the full end to end of what the actual start is versus what the actual end is. That's what it'll look
And,
like.
and if you don't know what a front end is, if you don't know what a back end is, if you don't know what architecture is, if you don't know what integrations are, debugging, awesome. You don't need to know.
Yep.
You don't need to know to start. Um, yeah, we've had about 500 people take this so far. It's been phenomenal. It's so rewarding. I love it. I love meeting new people who are building. I love helping people build. I think what drives me, I think it's what drives Garrett, it's what drives Haw. Um, and we'd love to have you become part of our community. We have a really high NPS, really high average ship rate. As I said, like 90% of people ship something. It's cool. Um, the average person only uses 4 hours of their 7 hours of engineering time. And you might ask yourself, you might say, well, how's that possible if they're non-technical? That's part of the magic. It's pretty incredible. Garrett is like he's our poster boy of what not to do with engineering hours. He's the guy that said, I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm going to work, all these extra hours in the evening. I don't need any help. And he did it. But, he came out with, I think, probably a little bit of a bashed in head. And now he knows, okay, use those engineering hours. They're there for a reason. You don't need to punish yourself. You're here to learn and to build. Um, yeah.
And I think because of that experience, I have a really good sense of and a way to teach. Here's your debugging toolkit. Here's your best practices in the workflow for you to execute. And when you get stuck in these ways like I did, here's how you can get out of it. One, two, three, didn't engineer. So teach you how to be self-sufficient so you have the confidence to build, and then also when to recognize when you're no longer serving yourself from a cost time perspective and when to engage engineers. So no matter what, you have either the tools or the safety net to support you.
Yeah. Such a good point. All right. Let's go to the next one. Um, you might be considering other types of boot camps. I think what really distinguishes us is all of these humans involved in helping you be successful. Instructors, mentors like Susan, engineers, the full community that exists that is building alongside of you, as well as the community of prior builders. It's a huge swath of people that are here to help you. So you're not just coming in and getting a blob of content. You're coming in and you're becoming part of a builder community from day one. And everybody's here to support you. You got this on-demand engineering when you hit a wall. You will hit a wall. You're going to use Claude Code and Claude Design, best in class. You're going to get a really cool system for building clean, scalable software, and that part of that's pre-code. You're going to be upskilling. So if you're doing this to upskill and you want to be an AI native product builder after a month, you could be an AI native product builder come August 1st if you take the boot camp. Okay? Keep that in the back of your head. It's a really curated curriculum. We do adjust based on the cohort that's in. So if everybody's technically competent, we might start at a higher level. If people are lower, wherever people are is where we go. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah, it's very involved. There was a question in chat about examples of software that people have built, and I just want to call a couple of these out. So there are actually a lot more. This is just a small subset. These are real companies that prior bootcamp participants who came in with an idea. Some of these people came in with an idea working for a company. And by the time they left, they said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go build. And they have, and they've built companies. Some of them have even raised money off these ideas. Not a small amount of money either, but like real money, like money in that, $10 million range. The world is your oyster. So these are all live except for Lumina. You can go check these out. These are real businesses. Daily Fuel down here in the middle on the middle right. That just came out of cohort 7, which ended 10 days ago. So if you want to see something that was built just now, fresh, you can go check out Daily Fuel.
Rep Lab as well, I believe.
Rep Lab is the other one. So Rep Lab won our demo competition at the end, and Daily Fuel took second. And these are both live. You can go see those. These are, and Rep Lab is going to become its own company. It's going to become a real company. But as examples, Q3D sensing. This is a business to business, very technical. This is a LiDAR platform, basically building a world model around real data points. So like volumes of interiors of buildings or volumes of pools so that they can do all sorts of maintenance and support of those things. You've got college advising. You've got turning family memories into a physical book. Telpastel.ai. This is super cool, folks. If you have a parent, which everybody's got a parent, if you have a parent that's still alive and you want to give them a gift, check out telpastel.ai. You produce real physical books. It's really neat. If you want mentorship, go to strive.com or getstrive.com. You can check out Stipulate if you're into trying to embed B2B onboarding for in Slack. Um,
So,
just just a wide range of products, a wide range of businesses, and that's really what we wanted to show you. Some are B2B, some are B2C, just about everything.
and there's a couple key use cases a lot of people come in with, and you'll see a little variation here. There's singular focus tools that integrate into other tools um, that are either for personal use or for like, if you're a solopreneur or work at an organization, you have some simple task you want to build around. There's full-on businesses and entrepreneurship, Strive, Telpastel, Emma Advisor, Daily Fuel, and then there's Q3D sensing this is a someone who came in who works in product in their company, and their engineering team is focused on other priorities, and he wanted to be able to develop and build what his team needs without having to wait for the bottleneck that was the internal engineering team or have his startup spend more money to try to get this work out faster. So he took it upon himself to take the boot camp. Now his business partner's taking the boot camp coming up so that they could build their old side of the business on their own. And they needed the validation that how they built had strong fidelity with what their business needed, and they were coming in for the system, pre-code OS and the work rituals and the workflow we were promising, so that their business could have confidence they're building good code for their needs without having to pay for or hire additional engineering teams to do that for them. So those are three common things we come in with: build within a business, build your own business, build a tool. We support all of it.
Yeah, a couple of these are marketplaces that are in there. I think one of the best quotes that I heard this last cohort was somebody said this was the least expensive investment I've ever made to accelerate something that would have cost me 50 or 100,000 bucks if I didn't go to the boot camp. I'd have to hire a dev team or I'd have to hire, a bunch of advisors. So it's very powerful that way. Um, these are founders who came in and all shipped. These are the founders of those businesses. Um, if you come in to Snapcamp, if what we're talking about here excites you, you can have Daniel as a mentor who comes in and he'll have a cohort in the next boot camp. They'll get the chance to work and learn from Daniel's experience. Susan, who just was in our last boot camp, hopefully she comes back and does another boot camp with us. Um, we had a few other people that were on that list who you may also get a chance to learn and mentor under. And then some of these folks, if they're not a mentor, might come in and be a special guest, and so you get a chance to hear about their journey and their story and where they tripped up and what they learned and what they would tell you to avoid those same pitfalls. These are all people that are still building. They came in, they started, and they're still going. There's a bunch of these, like a lot more than this. Garrett, go to the next one. Yeah, we have we get really really good NPS. It can be life changing for some people to come in and do this. That's what drives us. It's exciting, especially when people come in thinking I can't do this. I'm not technical. I just have an idea. It's like I said, it's like Red Bull. You leave with wings. Let's go to the next one. At this point, I'd love to introduce you to Susan. And Susan, as I said, is a previous cohort grad. She's also a wonderful mentor for people in the boot camp. She's an all-around awesome person and is doing a bunch of really cool things. So, Susan, do you want to share a little bit about what it is you're doing? And then if you want to give us a little demo of what you're building, and you can show people um, the real deal.
All right. Thank you, Dan. That was a very generous introduction. And just hello to everyone. So I'm based in Portland, Oregon. I'm Susan Liao, she, her. And I do have a few slides to share. Well, not let me say slides. This is something I just kind of put together. Let me see here. Okay. And then where did everybody go? always like to make sure I can see where everyone went. But okay, there we go. So I'm Susan. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. This is just, I created this a couple years ago, so just it might date myself. But I've been around the block a couple times in terms of digital innovation. I grew up in Michigan, then lived on the East Coast, Boston, New York for a couple of years. And then the last 10 years, I'd say this is like chapter 3 of my life, I've been on the West Coast. Um, I do have a background in technology, but I like to say I'm one of those like kind of dangerous people. I work with developers, but I don't consider myself a coder. I've worked with a couple different startups. There's a couple names here, kind of mostly in the kind of purpose-driven space, including a couple nonprofits. And as Dan mentioned, I currently run my own incubator called Startups for All, and also my own product consulting business called Leaders Like Us. With that being said, why did I join Snapcamp if I already have all this kind of product digital experience? And let me just first say, I'm at a point in my life where I have not 3, but 4 dogs, including an Afghan hound. And my other 2 dogs also do dog sports. This is called flyball. If anyone, I think it might be the only kind of team dog sport out there. It's kind of nuts. It's like chaos with some structure around it. I also caretake for my 82-year-old mother who lives with me part-time, recently had knee surgery. So this is us in Taiwan in February, but she has her own needs. And really, I'm at a point where it's about doing less better. Don't we all want to do this? And as much as I spend time doing kind of configuring tools, working with a lot of development teams, I actually don't do a lot of AI stuff. So I took, just to give you kind of some context, cohort 4, which was back in, was that October, last October? Uh, because I needed, yeah, I want to do less with better. I actually want to spend less time trying to figure stuff out on my own versus learning from people who already know the tools of the trade, they know the tips, and they can kind of pretty much springboard me and show me, what are the most important things I need to know now for what my goals are. And basically, that's why I enrolled in Snapcamp. And I already had a process that I was working with. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes kind of showcasing kind of my context, the app I wanted to make, and then I'll kind of jump forward to where I am today. This is like 6 months later. So back in the fall, I created my big ass kitchen sink. This is a visual organizer to help you make progress on what matters the most and let go of the rest. It's really focused on, this is my background working with other founders, kind of purpose-driven work. What are those North Stars that really matter to you, based on where you are in life today, kind of visualizing that portfolio of possibilities, what else is possible, what do I want to spend time on, and really looking at intentional time blocking. I say, I love checklists, but checklists for me are that's where I dump what's on my mind. But at the end of the day, what are the things that I actually get done? It's probably only like, the top 10% of items. And it's really about what matters the most and just being okay with not getting through the rest of the list. And so in this process, in this boot camp, and just know, back in October, we did not have pre-code. I was using, and I don't know, Garrett, if anyone has questions about this, I was using Ember Studio exclusively. I didn't write a line of code. I used their prototyping tool, created this onboarding experience. I'm not going to go through every single screen, but essentially it's like choose your North Stars. What I'll do. I actually kind of developed this kind of I did a bunch of integrations. I essentially was trying to kind of implement my own kitchen sink to know what's possible in terms of vibe coding. including this visual eco-cycle. It might look very overwhelming, but this is my own framework, that I kind of use in terms of mapping my activities, into these different phases of development. I had this visual calendar that I created, you know, and this is all based on work that I was already doing kind of manually in a mural board. So if you're the type of person where you carry a physical notebook still, or you're a sticky person, you have stickies on your wall, that's me. And I was trying to figure out, could I actually vibe code my own little like digital sticky board? And this is how this is what came about, and this is my kitchen sink, essentially a directory of all the different activities that I do. I also kind of tooled around with an insights board, and a pulse check. How am I feeling? And, there are a lot of there's probably, I don't know, 30 or 50 other different features in this. I might have been the only person in my cohort that used all of my credits when I built this application. So that's Bax, my big ass kitchen sink. I created this. It was a great V1. It's not ready for production. I was just more, if you're that type of person where hey, you're starting, creating a garden for the first time and you go to the nursery and you're like, hey, I want to plant some basil. I want to plant some asparagus. Let's just try all these different plants and then see what thrives or what survives at the end of the season. This is pretty much me. And so I was all in with this boot camp back last fall. I had to pause development just because life happened. There's a couple other things going on. Fast forward to May, cohort 7. Now, this was an opportunity now where, in talking with Garrett, and I'm still part of the founding members community, which I'm sure he'll, speak about in the future. Said, if you, for all alumni, they invited us to audit the current boot camp because of Dan and this new layer called pre-code, which I won't get into details, but essentially, it's another layer that gives me confidence that whatever I built is production ready and human ready. And what does that mean in plain English? It means, so this is Bax from the fall, my prototype. As I was developing this vibe coding, I didn't write a line of code, but I know enough to know when AI is kind of like generating. I don't know if this has happened to anyone, but you're like, enter a prompt and then, AI spins and it's just like generating screens of logs. And I'm thinking, I think it's kind of going off course here. What's really going on? And I was just concerned about, bloat and stuff like that. And so I audited this course, this last cohort, and also mentored as well, because I wanted to kind of try out pre-code and actually create this companion tool to Bax called Bax Capture. It's kind of the same theme of like making space for what matters, reducing the mental carry. Let's capture everything that's in my head, just brain dump it out, but also be able to kind of do this. Yeah. So I was just in any case, I created this little app called Bax Capture to help with the input process of my big ass kitchen sink, rather than having to kind of select all these squares and go through this whole onboarding process. I could be walking my dogs, talking to myself in the phone, and immediately, that transcripts gets ingested by the app and creates all these individual stickies on its own. And then with that being done, it then adds to my all those things get added to my kitchen sink. So that was a lot. I was just talking. But I think in my case, I'm curious to just hear what questions any of you have in terms of just if there's any kind of insights I can lend regarding my experience with the boot camp, taking it pre-Claude, kind of pre-Anthropic, and then kind of post-Anthropic. Because I really came into this last cohort with, I've dabbled with ChatGPT, but I hadn't used Claude at all. Yeah. So I'm just going to pause there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dan, Garrett, did I cover everything?
Let's
Well,
see. We'll open it to
I would just
questions.
ask you a question here, Susan, real quick. Before you came into the cohort, Before you took the boot camp
Mhm.
to now, what is it that you couldn't do before that you could do now?
Yeah, you know, I'm someone that likes to do things my own way. You can, in all aspects of my life, I'm kind of like that independent kind of rebel that I like to know what's traditional, and I tend to veer off on my own. The challenge, though, is when you veer off on your own. I mean, there are statistics on this, even when you're founding a tech startup, like, two heads are typically better than one, kind of doing everything yourself, will quickly kind of you'll probably fall into the rabbit hole. And what I couldn't do before that I can do now is I have confidence that there's a community behind me, like-minded folks that can help gut check, kind of keep me on track. It's more than just accountability. I still actually meet with some of the folks kind of from my own cohort on a weekly basis just to check in. But it's folks that kind of share similar values that we want to do this the right way. But we also aren't scared, we're not trying to be perfect versus, hey, we know this is kind of greenfield territory. So let's,
Mhm.
focus on what matters and not to, no pun intended, but yeah, let go of the rest.
Excellent. Yeah. So you got a lot out of it, way beyond just learning how to build.
Yeah, and I mentored an MIT grad in January, just to kind of give some context. I do have people that come to me, ask me about what do you think about AI, privacy issues. We're thinking of involving it in our design process or kind of using it we have like a grant to bring in an intern to do XYZ. And I say yes, I would definitely, take advantage of the opportunity. However, I strongly recommend using Ember. No, I know there are other platforms out there, as Dan mentioned, but in terms of kind of having some guardrails so that your AI doesn't drift, and also ensuring that at the end of the day, it's the human honoring the knowledge that we have as humans. Ember is definitely the platform to use. And yeah, I mentored a MIT intern in January. She created, brought her idea to life also in 4 weeks. Didn't have any software development background. I mean, she was 18 years old, and she
Yeah.
loved it.
It's awesome. We've had people, yeah, 18, we've had people in their 70s. We've had the full range. We accept all here would be one way to say it. So that's awesome. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. What kind of questions do folks have? You guys came to learn about Snapcamp. Now's your chance to ask us questions. There are no dumb questions. Every question that you think in your head, there's probably somebody else that has the same question that just hasn't raised their hand yet. So what questions do people have?
This is Dan. I have a quick question regarding is the app that's being created, is it standalone or is it sort of like web-based? And this may have been answered already, but I just didn't catch it.
Whatever you want.
So
Yeah.
we
I'll tell you what the practical limitation is from a scope perspective to answer your question. So if what you want to build is a mobile app, you can build a mobile app, okay? Um, we encourage people to build the web version of the mobile app first because it's a heck of a lot easier for you to test a web app. A mobile app is going to require you to have mobile hosting infrastructure. And if you want to get it out on one of the app stores to really test it, you have to go through a 2 or 3 week approval process through the app store. So what we suggest to people is if you have a mobile app idea, you can build it. You're probably not going to be able to go to production in 4 weeks because of that limitation that's outside of my control, your control, our control. But you can build a web version of it, and while you're designing it, you can have the mobile responsive version being built at the same time. You're just not going to be able to go to production with a mobile in 4 weeks. It's practically not possible. But you can build anything. We've had people build platforms, people have built web products, people have built SaaS products, people have built mobile apps, people have built data flows, people have built um, data science algorithms. People have built, I mean, it's just whatever you want to build.
And the key there too, worth mentioning is this is the boot camp to facilitate end-to-end learning on how to build excellent products correctly. And we also have like you have engineering hours that roll over for a month. So any unused you'd keep for a month if you stay with us. And we have different pricing tiers afterward, depending on how much you want to still leverage and engage with engineers, because this is just the beginning of your build journey. The whole point of this is to give you the toolkit, skill set, the confidence to become a builder. And then should you want to continue building, you still can. So if you start with a web app, but your vision is a mobile app, this will give you the tools and skills to then go and build that and the engineering support to facilitate that continued development towards a mobile app. We just want to make sure that you have all the skills, tools, and support to be able to do this on your own. So it's not to say no to a mobile app. It's to say we'll scope it for the boot camp, and then you can take it to a mobile app.
That's right. Susan, before we get to you real quick, I want to answer Sandra's question. Do we guarantee that we'll be able to deliver our version of the app we envision by joining this program? What resources or credits come with joining Snapcamp? So Sandra, you got a couple questions buried in there. We do offer money back guarantee. Okay. So if you come in and after the first week it's not working for you, fine. It's happened a couple of times, but it's super rare, but we offer that. Okay. We cannot guarantee that your vision of your product can be brought to life. Only you can guarantee that. Okay. So I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to bring your thing to life if you don't put the work in and you don't do it. But let me tell you this, for everybody who's had an intent to build something and put the work in, they've gotten out of it exactly what they wanted or close enough, right? That's the key. It's we're not a feature factory. We're not a machine that's just going to say, you give us your intent, now it pops an app. This is a learning journey. So if you've got the idea and you feel like that's fairly well structured, and now what you need, okay, so you already put the work in, you have the framework, you just need to deliver it. Come join, build. You're
Okay, yeah.
you're in the right place.
Hi, I thought it'd probably be easier to talk. Sorry. I pretty much have it framed out, and I actually have spoken to some developers about it, and they were giving me astronomical quotes. And the
Mhm.
concept itself, it's it's really a building block approach, and I know that I can build it. I just need the guidance and the infrastructure in terms of the educational, being able to have the resources and being able to ask questions
Yep.
and getting to the next step. So I just wanted clarity if that's the structure that you're promising. And then the other facet, the other side of my question was I've joined other workshops before, and embedded within the workshop were like credits for Nano Banana, for example, or things like that. So that was the other side of the question. Is that included as part of the package, or is it just the guidance and insights that you offer?
I'll let Garrett answer the second
Yep.
part.
You are the perfect candidate for this. That's the exact use case
Okay.
where people get the most out of this. Um, that is the structure we provide. That is the exercises we provide. That is the one-to-one instruction we provide. How I'll frame it is this way. The first week, we have an ideation workbook that you'll fill out and we'll support you in filling out, and then we'll meet with you to then help you scope it for the boot camp based on the level of effort you're going to be able to put in for the boot camp and the complexity of what you're trying to build, so that the goal is by the time you get to the end, you'll deploy what you intended when we went through that exercise with you. Um, and then for the second part, if I missed it, could you repeat it back to me?
She's asking about the costs of credits and what's included for credits and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So we provide credits and we have our own UI builder you can use. What we have people do is sign up for a Claude Code subscription. So there's a $20 a month pro plan, or there's a $100 a month max plan. Most people can get away with the $20 a month. Some need the $100 a month. Within that, you can use Claude Design to prototype. And then when we move to Claude Code, um, you won't, there's pay-as-you-go methods that are extremely expensive. These subscriptions are heavily subsidized. And so I use the $100 plan. I probably spent 16 hours the last 2 days, maybe 20 hours completely just using it. And I haven't hit a token gate yet. And so the way I'd frame it is whatever you were quoted per month from an engineer is after this Snapcamp is probably about $100 a month. Now, obviously, that depends, and there's some complexities there, and but that's been my experience. Um, so this comes with 7 engineering hours, $100 of those credits if you use Ember, if not Claude, and then it does not come with the Claude subscription. It also comes with one-on-one time with Dan and I, additional office hours that's not quoted in here, supported part of it. We never add on costs for anybody. We only add on support if you need it.
Yeah, if you need more than 7 engineering hours because you've got let's say, a very unique or very complicated integration or a big data transformation that has to occur and you need engineering support, that's just priced out hourly. It's super cheap. So whatever quote you got from that dev team, I can tell you this will be a heck of a lot cheaper.
No, undoubtedly. And I know that I could build it myself if I just had the structure and the guidance. Because I've kind of have the framework already and the concept is already fleshed out and everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, well,
And
thank you. That answers the question.
Yeah.
yeah, this might be relevant for the group too, and it's probably will for you. What I'll add to that is we've had people come through intending to build their own thing, and then life gets in the way, or they get a job, or they decide, hey, actually, I want an engineer to build this. We have different pricing plans after, where you could have an engineering team through us at a much better rate, and you become the product manager, and you decide the cadence you meet with them, how you spend the hours, and they essentially build alongside you or for you. So you could do this all by yourself, and we do this boot camp so that you can do it on your own. If you want that resource, that exists beyond the boot camp. This is just the beginning of that build journey, depending on how you want to engage with it.
Yeah, and I think Garrett's making a really important point that's non-obvious. That prior slide that showed those businesses that had been built using Snapcamp, three of those three of those folks use our they're founding members of Snapcamp. They're still part of the community, but they've shifted into a mode where they know what to build now, and they use the Snapcamp engineers to help them continue building. It's what's allowing them to scale their businesses. It's like an inexpensive dev team, and it's been super powerful. It's a really unique thing you get here with this boot camp. So the Nick, can we share the pricing plans? Do you have that, Garrett? Do you have that handy? Can you throw that up here? Yeah, these are the recurring membership plans. The starter plan is only 19 bucks a month. This is what keeps you connected into the community. If you don't use your engineering hours, all of them in the boot camp, whatever you didn't use rolls over to the next month. So you retain your engineering hours and you retain your credits, which is pretty cool. We have a pro plan for people that want 2 hours of engineering support going forward per month. We have a pro plus plan. You can see there's a growth on a partner plan. If what you're doing is to build a business, you really can't find anything this inexpensive, $1,000 a month for 25 hours of engineering, where you're still the product manager. It's just, I've never seen that in 35 years of doing this stuff. So it's a really powerful array of options. You can move in between these plans as you need. Okay. There's no like, you're locked into a plan for 12 months or you have to prepay. This is just month by month. We make it super easy for folks. Oop, Garrett, you're on mute.
We have two ways to engage with engineers as well. On demand. So right now I want to get unstuck. I want to chat with an engineer to look at my code and help me get unstuck. And then we have the schedule with a teammate who you work with on an ongoing basis. Those are typically reserved for growth and partner, but we work with everyone who joins our community to make it work for whatever your project needs are and whatever works for you.
Yep. That's it. We're here to help people achieve their dreams.
I know we're
Last couple
at
things.
time.
Last two things, because I know we're at time here, is we have 4 early bird seats left. If you sign up today, you can get the early bird pricing. That's $14.99. That's a smoking deal for what you're getting. Most of the other boot camps that offer maybe half of what we're offering are priced at $2,000. It's really not the price. This is what I tell people. This is an investment in your future, is the way to think about it. If you're on the fence, reach out to myself or Garrett. You can reach out to Susan as well. Ask us questions. Again, this may not be right for you, but for most people, it's really a powerful thing. And I want to thank everybody for showing up. And if there's any final questions, stick them in the chat. I'm going to put in one more thing. If you're at all curious, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll just put it here, make it simple. Would love to answer questions. As I said, my mission is to help you guys learn to build. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you're excited to come build with us in July. If July doesn't work for you, the next one's going to be sometime in the fall. We don't know when. It's kind of based on demand. So I would suggest sign up now if it's in your mind and you're saying, yeah, this feels right. Just make it happen. Make an investment in yourself.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody.